Hello, friends. Welcome into the Cowboys Report, live from the College Football Playoff National Championship. But we did not forget about the Cowboys, and how could we? They take down the Seattle Seahawks in the Wild Card playoff round in a great game, 24-22. So as we always do, we've got grades for you guys from this Cowboys win, and good thing it's a win. Otherwise, this would be a really, really angry Tom show. We'll start things off with the offense, and it was not perfect, but it got the job done. I am going to give the offense a B in this one. It wasn't perfect, but they did enough to figure out what they had to do. We'll talk about Dak and the ground game and all that here in a little bit, but overall, this was a solid showing for the Dallas Cowboys. We'll break down their individual stats, and no surprise, right? The ground game was actively involved. This one, 390 total yards, which doesn't sound like a lot, but also don't forget that the Seahawks had nothing going on. Just the one bad turnover, plenty of yards on the ground, and Dak Prescott made most of the plays when he needed to in this one. So I give the offense a B. We'll break down some of their other flaws and some of their other strengths throughout the show. But the offense was not the best part of this Cowboys showing tonight. That, I think, by far, was the defense. I give them an A. Yes, they had the late garbage time touchdown. They kind of made it a little bit dicey because I already started to talk trash on Twitter to Seahawks fans, and it kind of put me in a bit of a dangerous situation there if they'd blown that game. But the defense gets an A for me. They had nothing going on the ground, referring to the Seattle Seahawks here. We'll break that down in a little bit, too, when we talk about the defensive line. No takeaways, which is always a concern, but 2 of 13 on third downs. You promised me that. I think we're in great shape. And one of their scores came after a missed field goal from Brett Maher, which, look, overall, the Cowboys' defense stepped up in a big, big way. Hats off to Chris Richard. Please, other NFL teams, don't take him away from the Cowboys just yet. So the Cowboys win, and as I tweeted out, the reaction is now Super Bowl or bust, right? So, type 1 for let's go to the Super Bowl. Type 2 for now let's pump the brakes here a little bit. I do want to see who the Cowboys play next week. We don't know that quite yet, Saints or the Rams. I might end up picking against the Cowboys, but maybe I'll just have fun with it and pick for the Cowboys to go all the way here. They're going to have a shot. You win games in the playoffs, it's simply survive and advance. Once you get in the postseason, everybody has a real shot, so I am not going to discount them at all. Granted, if you had told me this after the Titans game, I would have said you were a crazy person, but I'll gladly be wrong on that one. All right, special teams. I give them a B. Brett Maher missed a long field goal, made a short one, was good enough there. The punting game was okay. Too many returns for Tyler Lockett, who terrifies me. Kicking game, he had one as well. But the big boost and why it goes up to a B for me this time around was Tavon Austin. Austin had himself a very important showing in this one with the way that he played, the way he performed overall. Tavon stepped up for the Cowboys. 5 punt returns, 73 yards, a long of 51. When was the last time the Cowboys had one of those types of plays for the punt return game? Hasn't happened in quite some time. So that was a big deal for him with special teams. And don't forget, he also had a touchdown called back because of what I thought was kind of an iffy holding penalty. So a B overall there for Tavon Austin and for the Cowboys special teams unit. In the end, solid showing, but still some work to be done, much like the offense. But when you get the win, I'll grade a little bit easier. All right, folks, go subscribe to our Cowboys Report YouTube channel, youtube.com/Dallas Cowboys Report, for more news, rumors, highlights, and special fan-led content like our mailbag and our fan rumors section. So, again, youtube.com/Dallas Cowboys Report. If you're watching on YouTube, wait till the end of the show. We'll put a link at the end. All right, some more Cowboys versus Seahawks post-game grades. How about Dak Prescott? Look, Dak is not perfect. I've made that clear many a time. But let's call him what he is. He is a gamer, and I often hate this term, but it applies here. He's a winner. That's what Dak Prescott is. He gets a B for me. And if you take away the bad Noah Brown interception, which really I thought should have been a pass interference call, and maybe if you end up taking away some of the missed throws that Dak had, which every quarterback does, even Russell Wilson had some tonight. They played actually very similar games. Dak had a really good game. Look, 22 of 33, 66%, 226, which actually is one of his worst yardage games in several weeks right now for Dak Prescott. 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and finally in the fourth quarter, they let Dak use his legs. 6 carries, 29 yards, and 1 touchdown. That gutty 3rd and 14 quarterback draw, I love it. Run that more, Linehan. That was a perfect play call, a great run by Dak Prescott. Look, I keep telling you guys, he's not perfect. But the Dak haters, I think you guys are wrong right now. Dak makes plays when it matters. He steps up in the fourth quarter. And it's not a coincidence, folks, that when Dak gets to run more of that 4-minute offense, that up-tempo stuff, the Cowboys have more success. I think that's a credit to Dak Prescott. The audibles he makes, the line adjustments he makes, the big moments he steps up in, that's a credit to Dak Prescott. So I give him a B in this one. Look, again, he's not perfect. This is not the game if you don't like Dak Prescott to say, see, he can't do anything. We can't do anything with him. He stepped up when it mattered. And again, this offense is not built around Dak throwing it 300 times. He doesn't need to. In fact, the offense doesn't want him to because you have Ezekiel Elliott. And guess what? Zeke feasted in this one. He had a great showing. An A grade for me. You give him the ball 30 times, and he produced almost every single time he touched it, even though the holes weren't always the most there for Ezekiel Elliott. 26 carries, 137 yards, 4 receptions, 32 receiving yards. I love it. Call it 170 on 30 touches. That's a good showing right there from Ezekiel Elliott. So I ask you guys for the Cowboys' offensive game plan. Feed Zeke? Type F to feed Zeke. Type Z to feed Zeke because there's only one answer here. Zeke needs to get that 25 to 30 touches every single game, if not more, especially as the Cowboys move further into the postseason when it gets even tougher. Other big offensive player for the Dallas Cowboys, Amari Cooper. And Cooper, again, I thought he played really well. It's a crazy thing, right? You let Dak use his legs, you give the ball to Zeke and you throw it to Cooper, and good things happen. An A grade for me for Amari Cooper. Had a really nice diving catch that ended up not mattering on that drive. In total, 7 catches, 106 yards, a longer 34. Yes, no touchdowns because the Cowboys seem to really like the Michael Gallup fade route instead of the Amari Cooper fade route for some reason, but it worked today, so good job there, Linehan. But in total, look, this is what you want from Cooper. 7 catches, 106. We'll take that every single game. That's 1,600 yards over the course of the season, plus the extra 6 per game. Cooper had himself a very good showing, and I'm sure we'll see something all 22. He gets open a lot as well. Excuse me. All right, some more postseason grapes here as I cough on air. That's never good. Let's talk about the defensive line for the Cowboys. They had themselves a great showing. I give them an A. Now, the sack numbers weren't really there. Only Malik Collins had a sack for the Cowboys, but that run defense, ooh boy, they stepped up in this one. DeMarcus Lawrence, 2 tackles for loss. Malik Collins had one. Antoine Woods has one. Randy Gregory had one. The Seahawks had 3 yards per carry, and you take away the lone big run by Rashad Penny at 28 yards, it was less than 2. Thanks, Brian Schottenheimer, for being the West Coast Scott Linehan and keep trying to run the ball for no good reason for the Seattle Seahawks. Defensive line stepped up. They didn't let Russ Wilson create too many extended plays. They bottled him up pretty well, forced some throwaways. Very happy with that defensive line, and also just from a normal person standpoint, great to see Tyrone Crawford back out there on the field. All right, more grades. Jason Garrett. You guys know I don't really like Jason Garrett all that much, but I will gladly give him credit where it's due. He gets an A. He won a playoff game against a good Seattle Seahawks team. He had him fired up and prepared to go. It's an A. And if you had told me, I've said this before, if you had told me after the Titans game that the Cowboys were going to win a playoff game this year, I would have said you were crazy. There was no way that was going to happen. Instead, Jason Garrett has righted this ship, has them at 9-2 after me, and I know a lot of you and everyone else out there in the media had them dead in the water and wrote them off, and for good reason. But credit to Jason Garrett. He has turned this team around and got them into the playoff race, won a game, and a chance to win some more. So here's your real talk, folks. Jason Garrett will be the head coach in 2019. He is going to be back, and if he wins another game, and maybe even right now, it's not going to be about, do we fire him? It's going to be about, do we extend Jason Garrett? That's where we're at right now for the Cowboys. And I know not all of you like Garrett. He's got this team in really good shape right now. Let's give him the credit there. So an easy A grade for me on Garrett. No, not perfect, but I thought he had the Cowboys prepared and ready to go. The one guy I'm not going to give credit to is Scott Linehan. He gets a C from me. I will not change my mind because it's the same things I see each and every single week. Last week, you got the middle of the field involved. Wasn't there until later on in the game. The opening script was good, and then as we've seen multiple times this year for Scott Linehan's offense, the middle of the game, it just falls apart. The after first drive to the fourth quarter, The offense was non-existent, and I put the blame on that on Linehan and the play calling. Run Dak Prescott more. If I figure that in the fourth quarter, I honestly think that Linehan saw Russell Wilson score on the quarterback keeper and went, oh, well, we have that play call too. Let's do that. It's not good play calling by Linehan. It's not a coincidence, folks, that when the offense goes up tempo and has to pressure more and push the ball down the field more, it's better. And when Dak makes audibles, it often ends up being better. Just imagine having Dak Prescott as your quarterback and not letting him run in a playoff game until the fourth quarter. It really doesn't make sense to me. I don't like the scheme. I don't like the offense. At the end of the year, regardless of what happens, I still want Linehan fired. I'll continue to suggest the teams interview him on Twitter because that's funny to me, but it's not going to happen. I want Linehan gone. Go get a different offensive coordinator. I think the offense will be much better for it. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Type KS for Keep Scott. Type FS for Fire Scott. And go subscribe to us here on our Cowboys Report channel, youtube.com/Dallas Cowboys Report. Our highlights from this game are already up there, so stay tuned. If you're watching on YouTube for a couple of seconds here, I'll have linked for it to you at the end of the video. Hey Cowboys fans, thanks for watching the Cowboys Report. If you haven't already, click right here to subscribe to our channel for all the best Cowboys coverage on the internet. That's news, rumors, highlights, mailbags, film studies, and a whole lot more. And I'm making your lives a little bit easier as well with the next Cowboys Report video right here.